Should we start? While people are joining in, at least we can begin initiate the initial process. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us here today. I hope you all are having a happy Sunday morning. Thank you again. We have people who've joined here today are people who have applied at Anant National University or are planning to apply at Anant National University. To begin with, we have our Provost, Dr. Sanjeev Vidyarthi, as our eminent guest today. Thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this webinar. It's indeed a pleasure and to hear you today. Just before we start off the proceedings of the webinar, some key rules for the webinar is something that I want to put forward. This webinar is not about admissions at Anant. So if there are any questions that you do have about admissions in Anant, please do park them, save them for the next webinar, which is scheduled on the 11th of April, and we will be announcing that soon. However, to understand more about Anant, the vision of the Provost, the larger picture about the design industry, what are the prospects of design education in India and overseas, those are the kind of questions that we will be welcoming into this webinar today. Secondly, very interesting thing, sir, I'd like to let you know that, we had requested a lot of parents and students who were registering for the webinar to put in their questions to us prior. So we have those questions, and a lot of questions are directed towards the university. A lot of parents have shown key inclination, which is why we would love it if you can answer those questions for them. And secondly, if you do have any other questions, there's a chat box. Please do put your questions into the chat box. Our team at the back end will answer the questions for you immediately. We will be making some announcements towards the end of the webinar. So please stay tuned, stay there, stay right till the end. Those special key announcements are important and will help you make an informed decisions as you go forward in your career choices. I'll start by introducing Dr. Sanjeev Vidyarthi. So thank you once more. Dr. Sanjeev Vidyarthi is the Provost at Anant National University. He's an architect. He's an urban planner, urban designer, spatial planner, scholar, author, and a leader for all of us. He led the founding of the first and the only standalone school of architecture in Rajasthan called the Ayojan School of Architecture. And he has also served as the director of undergraduate studies and the head of the Department of Urban Planning and Policy at the University of Illinois, Chicago. At Anant, as the provost, he leads institution building with a focus on advancing the university's mission. He plays a very pivotal role in guiding Anant towards its vision and long-term goals while establishing the university as a leader in design education. Dr. Vidyarthi has authored 6 scholarly books and numerous essays in leading academic journals. He has also been recognized with special awards and grants for his pioneering work and has given talks and presentations at many prestigious forums globally. Thank you, sir, and welcome to this discussion, to this design dialogue session. I'll start off with a few key questions, few burning questions, sir, which the parents have asked us. You've taken over the baton for the university. You are leading the entire university forward. My first question to you would be, what is your vision for making Anant one of the most respected design universities? And how does that translate into better opportunities for the students who are there and who are coming in as well?
Thank you, Apurva, for the introduction and organizing this important webinar where we can share our views about the university with the prospective parents and students, as well as I also want to thank the parents for making time out on a busy Sunday morning to come and interact as you make an important decision about your wards, future education and career. This is a great question to begin. Anant ka jo vision hai, it actually represents to my mind a very old aspiration of our fellow countrymen. Many generations of Indians, as we know now, almost 200-250 saal se, we have aspired to live in the word that we use is Viksit Bharat. Hum sab Viksit Bharat mein rehna chahte hain. Aur Viksit Bharat kya hai? It's an idea that our country is safe, secure, and pleasant to live in for everyone. Where our countrymen can live long lives, eat well, um, have healthy, happy lives. And in order to get to that state, we've made a lot of progress since independence. But in order to get there, we need not only well-trained engineers, doctors, and space scientists, but also competent and creative designers. Remember, the field of design is closely related with the national economy. When countries do well, when countries become prosperous, we need more designers. In India, right after independence, we didn't need too many designers because our country was still developing. We had shortage of basic goods, for example. So there were not many design schools when this country becomes important, or even through until the 1980s, the design was a relatively small field. This field has began to grow dramatically since the liberalization of our economy in 1990s and continues to grow well. So in this sense, my vision for Anant is closely reflective of our founders' idea that at Anant we seek to create a world-class Indian designs institute that not only matches the needs of India's growing economy, but also produces students that match the best standards anywhere in the world. Our confident, well-trained Anand graduates, and that's the idea on which we work on, are fully equipped to work and lead in a variety of roles at home and abroad. Remember, um, 1 in 6 world citizen is an Indian today, and the graduates we seek to produce would not only be working in our country, but also working with people from all over the world, both at home and abroad in many different settings. So that is sort of the broader vision that we have set out for our school.
That's a very, very interesting statistics that you've shared, sir. 1 in 6 globally is an Indian. Wow. We should be proud of the fact. Yeah. So there are over multiple design institutions, and if my numbers are not a little here and there are 1,400 plus private institutions in design segment in the country, in India. How does Anand stand differently? Why should somebody choose Anand and not any other?
Another great question, Apurva. So your statistic took me a little by surprise. Ki 1400 institute hai. My sense was, yeah, I imagine a handful of institutes that are, serious or are doing meaningful work. Though remember, design has been a small nascent field in our country. So I imagine there are many local and regional schools that you might have included in your statistics.
Yeah.
Anant by design is a national institute. It's reflected both in our name. It's called Anant National University, but also we seek to, and we do, identify and recruit both our faculty and student body from all across the vast, the geographic length and breadth of this country. And that's our endeavor to be national, both in the letter and as well as the spirit. But to come back to the question, what makes Anant distinctive among all of these schools is, to my mind, if I have to name one reason that really makes Anant stand out, is the sense of purpose. जिसको हम लोग नियति कहते हैं ना, तो आपका पर्पस क्या है? Why are we trying to do this work? As I said, we not only need engineers and doctors, space scientists, but we also need well-trained designers. And that is sort of reflective in the purpose and the commitment our board brings to this idea of nation building. Our founders comprise remarkably successful and illustrious professionals, or sabko, everyone. I would invite you, please visit our webpage that lists out people who have created, the founders who have created this university, and they have selflessly contributed their time, labor, and care for this intentional cause of building an institute that truly serves the nation building process. So, and I'm a strong believer of the fact that the best decision is made when we see things with our own eyes. हम खुद अपनी आंखों से देखें. So I would like to invite all the prospective students and the parents to make a visit to our campus, see with their own eyes the kind of physical infrastructure that our founders have created, the kind of faculty that we have available here, and the overall vibe जिसको हम माहौल कहते हैं, overall vibe which is design centered and puts the student learning experience at the center of everything we do, with their own eyes, and experience it with their own five senses before they make this decision. So the purpose, the intentional purpose of creating this institute, I mean, out of 1,400, one can imagine all what kind of promoters have created those institutions. But as far as Anant is concerned, our intentional purpose sets us aside from all other schools in very distinctive ways. Best experienced firsthand visiting our campus. Thank you.
So, can I just relook at this answer that you've given, sir, and flip the answer a little bit and say every student wanting to study or grow professionally in their career should not have a short-term vision and have a larger vision to think of a larger purpose that they want to solve going forward? Is that the right thing to say?
Fantastic point of view, Apurva. हम लोगों को बिल्कुल ये, when we are making decisions about careers, these are long. Humans, we come to age around 20, 22 years of age. Humans की एक बड़ी खास बात है, बड़ा समय लगता है. You are a parent, I'm a parent. We have spent times and we know, it takes a lot of care, love, affection, energy, labor, and time to raise our children to a standard. And when we are making such an important decision as to these 4 formative years, some of the best years of their life, on which campus they should be visiting, इसमें हमें strategic long-term thinking, parents के लिए भी और students के लिए important है that they are able to do this with full information possible and by visiting some of the select institutions where they are thinking. Career-wise भी थोड़ा उनको long-term और strategically सोचना चाहिए. एक college सिर्फ आपको technical knowledge नहीं देता. वो पुराना model है. 1950s में we thought that the technical schools like engineering and medicine and architecture and design should offer only technical expertise. That model is very 20th century. Today, it's not only knowledge that has remained important, but there are other aspects of campus life, debating, articulation, presentation, camaraderie, solidarity, learning how to be confident and how to be strong in a competitive world, be able to face all kind of situations with poise and coolness. So, कई सारे इसके अंदर ingredients हैं जो important हैं. And thinking strategically, of course, is a very important worldview that we seek to impart to our students.
Thank you. So, my takeaway from the answer is that, education was really in the 1950s, 60s in silos, which has really moved away from that, and the lines of demarcation have got blurred. So, it's more top down than being an engineer or a doctor or studying medicine or design. So we have, this brings me to a very interesting question, which one of the parents asked, Mr. Shailesh Manke. He's a parent, and he has asked a very interesting question. He, I think, feels that design specializations have got compartmentalized. Number one, my question is it so? And if not, how are we not ensuring it is not at Anant?
बिल्कुल उनका concern ठीक है. And I'll start with a little detour to sort of give him a sense, Shailesh ji ko, ki why this came about. एक तरफ तो हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे students of design are competitive in a wide variety. Design एक field है, and the rest of the world also recognizes you first as a designer before the wider world pays attention to कि आपका specialization communication है, product है, या space है, या fabric है, या garment है. Secondary है. First, the world recognizes us as a designer. Some of this specialization concerns come from faculty. Faculty specializes and faculty likes to reproduce. Faculty is more comfortable within their own domain. So ये कुछ specialization तो faculty वाले लोग create करते हैं और insist करते हैं that we should have this. The second reason for creation of specializations, a number of specializations have continued to grow and would continue to grow in foreseeable future, because हमें एक बड़ी specialized knowledge हर field की होती है जो हमें देनी होती है, and that is possible only when we organize the curriculum in a way that students are able to pick some core skills and critical knowledge in one particular field rather than becoming absolutely generalist. So in a good school like Anant, there is always this healthy tension. It's not a paradox. It's not a competitive tension. It's a healthy tension where on the one hand, we want our students to be broad-minded and be able to design and use the knowledge of design across a wide fields. And we do it with things like the first year where what we call foundation studies, where they work across a wide variety of specializations and learn from teachers working in different areas. And then again, later in the curriculum, in the 7th semester curriculum, where we do a collaborative studio, where all the specializations again come back and work together, creating solutions for pressing real life immersive problems of the world. So एक तरफ तो हम वो करते हैं और दूसरी तरफ हम अपने स्टूडेंट्स को via this specialization and curriculum thing, we encourage them to do to pick up knowledges and skills and expertise in one particular area of their choosing. So दोनों हैं, एक तरफ आप wider कर रहे हैं और एक तरफ हम लोग थोड़ा सा उसको specifically भी encourage कर रहे हैं. So a more direct answer to Shailesh's question is कि intelligent kids at Anant and majority of them वो एक major लेते हैं, वो एक आध minor लेते हैं, वो foundation study well करते हैं, so that they are ready, depending on the task at hand, they are able to have skills and tools and techniques at their disposal. Real world में तो कई तरीके की problem आपके सामने आती हैं, तो आपके पास tools होने चाहिए. The metaphor I like very much is the Swiss knife. हम अपने बच्चों को स्विस नाइफ की तरह ट्रेनिंग देते हैं कि जरूरत पड़ने में किस औजार का इस्तेमाल करना है. दे शुड हैव दैट पर्टिकुलर औजार एट देयर डिस्पोजल एंड दे आर एबल टू वाइजली डिसाइड कि इस सिचुएशन में दिस औजार वुड वर्क बेटर देन एनी अदर. सो दैट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ द framework within which this knowledge transfers.
I think the Swiss knife keeps coming back into our discussion, webinar after webinar. Last webinar also we discussed about the Swiss knife. So, understanding from what you're saying, you mentioned Viksit Bharat. Our Prime Minister talks about being a job giver, then a job taker, a job doer. Like this is an era of entrepreneurship, where people are getting into the market and becoming entrepreneurs, getting some experience and then launching themselves, because we are a country which is absolutely right on top on the brink of breaking open to the world. So we are at that stage. Do you think it's a good idea for us to be a specialist or a generalist, or is there a bridge for education?
नहीं, बिल्कुल अपूर्वा, ये आपकी बात सही है. ये एक हम life is at some level difficult to predict. We don't know what would happen tomorrow. Forget tomorrow. We don't even know what might happen the next hour in our lives. So careers when we are thinking careers, people's preference change, their choices evolve as we progress through our college life and early career and mid career and later career. Our priorities change. We realize that we might be more interested in this particular area. So some of this, and this is very important about design education, that most of it is self-selected. Students first of all select to go to design school. इंजीनियरिंग में तो बहुत सारे बच्चे भेड़ चाल में चले जाते हैं, नॉट नोइंग कि मैं क्या करूं. मेडिसिन ऑल्सो आई वुड आर्ग्यू इन इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट बड़ा भेड़ चाल वाला फील्ड है, नॉट डिजाइन एजुकेशन. डिजाइन में मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स कम सेल्फ सेलेक्टेड, दे मेक दैट कॉन्शियस डिसीजंस. And parent support that's why very important. Parents who are progressive, parents who realize the importance of a broader education, because that's what design education provides, as I described. आपको जर्नलिस्ट वाली नॉलेज भी हम देते हैं क्योंकि द फ्यूचर इज अनसर्टन. आपको हो सकता है जर्नलिस्ट वाली नॉलेज की जरूरत पड़े, और हम आपको स्पेसिफिक स्किल सेट्स भी प्रोवाइड करते हैं दैट स्टूडेंट्स अगेन सेल्फ सेलेक्ट. At Anant, every student has the option to select their major at the end of year 1. We are not constrained by capacity कि product design में सिर्फ 100 सीटें हैं तो सिर्फ 100 बच्चे कर सकेंगे. If 150 students want to do it, we work very hard behind the scenes to enable the curriculum and to enable the logistics to provide every student the major they seek to pursue. And similarly a minor. So हर student एक major select करता है, minor select करता है, general courses. Our list of electives is impressive. So think of it like a buffet. You go in a big buffet, and Apurva likes to have some chow mein and a chola bhatura, and then maybe um, some hummus, and you can mix and match your courses to self-identify and pursue the work that you seek to do. Plus आपको generalist जो हमारे core courses हैं वो तो करना ही है, so you have that core knowledge as well. So this combination of journalism, being a generalist, and then being specifically trained to do particular jobs is a very powerful notion of modern education, and we embrace it fully.
Interesting, sir. So you mentioned Bhed Chal. Bhed Chal means Bhed Chal has also become a phenomena, a behavior, because it also has somewhere predicted more stability, more predictiveness in terms of those domains, whether you call it engineering, medical, MBA. A lot of parents have this concern, and I'm just putting everybody's questions into one question and putting it together to ask you this question. Is design a safer career option compared to other traditional pathways?
Hmm. No, that's a good question, Apurva. Design, as we talked about, is a more nascent field. Design ki folks who are more interested on the intellectual side about this question. Remember, design starts only with industrialization in the late 19th century. जब तक industrialization नहीं हुआ था, हमें design की जरूरत नहीं थी.
Hmm.
Industrialization
Hmm.
होते ही we needed to design products, for example, bicycles, telephones, electrical poles, furniture, and urbanization has fueled it even more. So design is a nascent field, and it would be wrong to compare it with more traditional and more sort of settled fields like engineering or medicine or teaching, for example. But on the other hand, design is a much more creative field that creates a wide variety of opportunities. Designers that way have many more career avenues that they pursue. एक आपने बताया entrepreneurship वाला. I think that's an important one because historically the professional ideal in design fields has been that people will get up early in their career and set up their own studios or practices. Zyadatar architects, for example, like to set up their own boutique practices and specialized studios. Same with garment designers and fashion designers. So think Sabyasachi or think a Manish Malhotra. ये लोग खुद की practice. ये ideal जो होता है ना profession का ideal. Like doctors like to set up their nursing homes. Similarly, that's sort of an ideal. So हमारे professions में design related में एक वो ideal है. And then that entrepreneurship is a strong one. And India, as we know, at this moment, the governments also support this idea that we want more job creators than job seekers. But हम अनंत में हर बच्चे को 3 ऑप्शन देते हैं, and we realize that our kids, our graduates like to pursue wide variety of roles. एक तो ये entrepreneurship वाला है, so we help incubate through a in-house Aramb incubation center. The second is we realize many of our students actually want to go in for higher education, both within the country as well as abroad. So we have a dedicated counseling center that helps them identify appropriate schools that match their needs and then offer counseling for admission purposes, help with the application process, for example. And the third we offer is a campus placement to every graduating student of Anand. So हर बच्चे के पास ये 3 options होते हैं and they choose and mix and match. Some students 2 options कई होते हैं जो पहले तीनों को probe करते हैं and then they settle down on one. So design field is in that way more creative and more it comes with a wider variety of opportunities than more conventional field like engineering or medicine would be my response.
So, sir, career services is certainly, I'll just pick up one they mentioned about placement. Career services is not really just is about my understanding, is what I'm asking you, is not really just about getting the student a placement on campus. It is also preparing the student for multiple placement opportunities that come in his life going forward. Is that something that we practice on Anant as well?
हाँ बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं आप. This actually this starts early on in the Anand curriculum. You know,
Okay.
आप हम डिजाइनर्स के लिए एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है स्किल सेट, एंड आई थिंक दैट कम्स इन very handy, and it also sets designers apart from other professionals like engineers and scientists and doctors, is the ability to articulate a concept. कि किसी कॉन्सेप्ट को हम आर्टिकुलेट कैसे करें और उसको कम्युनिकेट कैसे करें, जिसको आजकल हम लोग शॉर्ट हैंड में प्रेजेंटेशन कहते हैं. That people need to have presentation skills. Essentially, it comprises two parts: an articulation of a concept, and then communication of that concept to an audience. So, ये हम लोग foundation year से शुरू कर देते हैं. So our kids are increasingly exposed to this idea कि उनको किस तरीके से बात करनी है, with the external world. Because design concepts sometimes can be complicated and they could be more abstract. So how do you articulate an abstract concept for a more general audience and communicate it? ये हम build करते रहते हैं. Then students, our placement office helps students obtain internships. So students go in the real world, work with a company, get उस वक्त इंटर्नशिप में उनको कई बार ये क्लियर होता है कि अच्छा ये फील्ड में ऐसा सोच रहा था, ये ऐसा नहीं है. मे बी दिस इज नॉट व्हाट आई वांट टू डू, बट आई डोंट वांट टू डू एक्स, बट आई वांट टू डू वाई. नो, सो इंटर्नशिप्स हेल्प्स यू बोथ वेज. One, it helps you figure out ki how does the real world in the design environment work. And second, it helps you sharpen your choices. And then many students, their internships get converted into full-time positions and they go back to it, especially if they've liked it. Otherwise, they have this option. They switch and they go and work in any other industry. Remarkably, in the design field, this can also go on after your completion of undergraduation. Graduate level पे कई students वापस diversify करके, they specialize in some other field. Some go on into creative fields, allied creative fields like movie set making. Imagine इस वक्त हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में the movie
Huge industry.
हाँ, और हमारी regional movies are so strong now. Telugu and Tamil and Kannada and Gujarat, and Maharashtra. So many and Bengal, so many of our regional film industries. And imagine the amount of set designing that goes on. And then advertisement agencies, the kind of production design that gets into all that. So many of our students, and this is self-selected. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. It's a creative field. Opportunities ki koi kami nahi hai. Designers have more opportunities than most other professionals in the 21st century India. This would have been different if it was 1970s. जब jobs नहीं थे क्योंकि हमारी economy small थी. Then it was a different world. But today we live in a very different world.
So, creativity is not the only skill that you need. You need to, have a certain, if you are a problem solver, if you are a critical thinker, these are also skill sets that can drive you into the design space and you can evolve and learn more further and grow on it. Is that true?
हाँ हाँ जी बिल्कुल. तभी वो your metaphor of Swiss knife
हाँ,
है ना,
exactly.
बिल्कुल. हाँ, इसमें कई सारी it's like a good rich Indian curry. वो सिर्फ एक मसाले से नहीं बन सकती है.
हाँ.
हमें उसमें 36, I mean, that would be, some people would say you need 36 spices to make a rich, robust curry.
Yeah.
But that's a good metaphor again, to think of a rich spice curry. और इस कारण design school is a lot of hard work. है ना, हम अपने बच्चों को पहले से चेताते हैं और हम हमारे campus का environment, and that's why it's very important for parents to come and check it out first hand. एक enabling environment है जिसमें बच्चे बहुत सारी अलग-अलग skills सीख सकें, and that takes time and that takes commitment and passion. So design schools में बच्चे बड़ी मेहनत करते हैं. Engineering, in my reading, is much easier to graduate. बहुत आराम से वो सेमेस्टर के एंड में कुछ दिन पढ़ के बच्चे रट वट के और इधर उधर करके पास हो जाते हैं. नॉट इन अ डिजाइन स्कूल. हमारे बच्चे वर्क वेरी हार्ड एंड वर्क विद अ लॉट ऑफ पैशन एंड डेडिकेशन एंड कमिटमेंट टू गेट trained in a wide variety of skills, tools, and techniques.
Interesting, sir. So now my, maximum of the questions is strange, and this is something that I had expected. Maximum of the questions have come from about the ambiguous artificial intelligence that is happening around and buzzing around in today's date, and people are asking, and I like you to talk at length about this, because people are asking multiple questions. How does AI get integrated into the design space? What is the industry opportunities with AI integration in the design space? Will AI take away all our jobs? Creativity in design is so important. So AI, how does AI come in here? Does it take away a creative person's job? Multiple questions. So if you tell us a little about it in length, I think it'll answer everybody's questions in one go.
बिल्कुल. Good point, Apurva. हम लोग this is one thing that has stood out about Indians, to me, as I've lived in different parts of the world. हम लोग, we are some of the more जागरूक people of the world. हम लोग बड़ा widely पढ़ते हैं. We are on top of things. We know, for example, in the US, where I lived for about 20 years, most Americans do not know what's happening beyond their country. उनको पता ही नहीं होता है. उनको एक अफ्रीका को कई लोग सोचते हैं वो एक सिंगल कंट्री है, वेरेज हमारे इंडियंस, हम लोग बहुत जागरूक हैं और हम लोग टॉप. गुड थिंग दैट वी आर ऑन टॉप ऑफ थिंग्स. सो वी पे अटेंशन टू फ्यूचर ट्रेंड्स, वी लुक एट पैटर्न्स एंड वी ट्राइंग डिसाइफर व्हाट्स कमिंग आवर वे एंड हाउ डू वी प्रिपेयर आवरसेल्व्स to be in a better position while when the future dawns upon us. So, AI के बारे में मैं 3 मुख्तलिफ पॉइंट शेयर करना चाहूंगा. नंबर 1, ये अभी, it's a myth that AI would do everything. I mean, AI would do a lot of stuff. नाम ही है उसका artificial intelligence, and it is artificial because computers generated using human knowledge and human literature and things that humans have done. So it would, but it won't take away physical jobs. It won't, it would obliterate the need for certain kinds of jobs, जैसे software coding का जो job है, things that are more mechanistic, and there's a whole list out there. Design का जो काम है उसमें design and creativity is one skill, and then there are many other things. For example, designers are one of the few people who get trained from the very first semester to conceive and compose and deliver projects. है ना, हम जानते हैं वर्ड प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड है. पूरी लाइफ इनफैक्ट वन कैन आर्ग्यू इज प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड. गेटिंग मैरिड इज अ प्रोजेक्ट, गोइंग टू कॉलेज इज अ प्रोजेक्ट, raising children is a project, retirement is a project, traveling is a project. So designers are one of the few professional practitioners जो फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर से डिजाइन प्रोजेक्ट को कैसे उनके लिए हर सेमेस्टर में एक प्रोजेक्ट होता है ना. ईच course offers a project. You conceive it, compose it, and then show us how it works. So project बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हैं designers. AI projects नहीं कर सकता, or because a project involves multiple parts. It can help you do a few things very well, and that's the power of computing. But it can't do the whole project, whereas designers, for example, are very well trained among all other professionals. Doctors don't think in terms of projects. They don't. They think in terms of disease and treatment. Engineers sort of think little bit. वो project के बारे में कुछ सोचते हैं, but then they are more numbers and quantitative data and finding solutions to stuff rather than thinking of stuff as a project that deals with human needs, desires, and aspirations. So AI, आप घबराएं नहीं, वो किसी की जॉब नहीं ले जा रहा है. Point number 1. कुछ लोगों की ले जा रहा है, but designers के लिए वो directly it doesn't. The second thing, which I guess is perhaps the most important one, and that's my own reading of AI, and I think it's really at the heart of it. जो मॉडर्न हायर एजुकेशन है, मॉडर्न हायर एजुकेशन मतलब जो हम कॉलेजेस और यूनिवर्सिटीज में पढ़ाते हैं, इस सब का जन्म 19th सेंचुरी, मिडिल ऑफ द 19th सेंचुरी में हुआ. उससे पहले ओनली द एलिटिस्ट, राजा का बेटा या हाई प्रीस्ट, उनके बेटे वो कॉलेज या एजुकेशन, हायर एजुकेशन लेते थे. बट ये 18th सेंचुरी 1850-60 के बाद ज्यादातर यूनिवर्सिटीज और कॉलेजेस का जन्म हुआ. इंडिया में हम देखें यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ कैलकाटा, मुंबई, चेन्नई, सम ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट स्कूल्स. इन द यूएस वी सी हार्वर्ड, MIT, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ इलिनॉय, मिशिगन एंड सो फोर्थ. ये सब 1850, 60, 70 की दिहाई में इनकी शुरुआत हुई. और वो क्यों हुई शुरुआत? वैरायटी ऑफ रीजंस. नंबर 1 वाज इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन. जैसे जैसे इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन आया, हमें ट्रेंड लोगों की जरूरत थी हमने, और साइंटिफिक रिवोल्यूशन हो रहा था, नई नई चीजें आ रही थी, so we needed to train people, so universities and colleges were set up to train people for specialized jobs, to train people to become doctors, to train people to become engineers. ऐसा नहीं था कि उसके पहले इंजीनियर्स नहीं थे. आप ग्रेट पिरामिड्स देख लें, आप हमारे यहाँ इंडिया अजंता एलोरा के टेम्पल देख लें, वो इंजीनियरिंग के इनक्रेडिबल सोर्सेज हैं, बट वो स्मॉल क्राफ्ट ओरिएंटेड आर्टिजनल ट्रेडिशन वाले काम थे, जिसमें लोग एक वर्कशॉप सेटिंग में अपने गुरु से सीखते थे और उस काम को आगे बढ़ाते थे. हमें मास लेवल पे ट्रेन करने की जरूरत इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन के बाद पड़ी. सो हमने हमेशा सिंस जब से मॉडर्न इंजीनियरिंग, जब से मॉडर्न कॉलेजेस और यूनिवर्सिटीज फाउंड हुई है, वी हैव ऑलवेज हैड टू ट्रेन पीपल टू डू थिंग्स, है ना. और रीट्रेन भी करना पड़ा जब कभी कभी इकोनॉमी चेंज हो गई और आपको लोगों को रीट्रेन करना पड़ता है. AI actually empowers people. This is the first time in human history that we have a technology that does not say you have to retrain for AI. No, 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 no. All of us can learn it using simple computer interface, but it empowers us to do our job better. So I am actually pretty optimist about AI. इसका एक another example that I'll offer. जब थॉमस अल्वा एडिसन ने बल्ब का आविष्कार किया, सो दुनिया में बड़ा हंगामा हुआ. जो कैंडल मेकर्स थे उन्होंने मोर्चे निकाले जगह जगह की पूरी कैंडल मेकिंग इंडस्ट्री इज अंडर थ्रेट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस डिसरप्टिव मोमेंट, और कितने लोगों की जॉब चली जाएगी. एंड विच वॉज ट्रू, बिकॉज कैंडल मेकिंग एक बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री थी, और उसके लिए हमें इतना ऑयल और वैक्स चाहिए होता था कि वी हैड एंटायर फ्लीट सेटअप इन द वेस्ट वुड गो आउट एंड हंट वेल्स. You can Google it and see this. We almost made that species extinct because हम whales को मार के उनके bladder से oil निकाल कर candles बनाते थे. वो पूरी industry under threat थी because bulbs came. But what bulbs actually did was, वो कुछ jobs तो चले गए candle maker के, there is no doubt about it. But what it did was empower human beings to do so many other things in so many more productive ways. So it's more of a disruptive moment, and designers have had some experience with it. I'll use my own example. In 1990s, computer-aided design, emerged. कि आप कंप्यूटर से ड्राइंग बना सकते हैं. उससे पहले हम हाथ से ड्राइंग बनाते थे. और जो हाथ से ड्राइंग बनाता है वही जानता है उसमें कितनी मेहनत और कितनी लेबर और कितना समय लगता था. It would take us my own. I still have that backache from doing these drafted drawings in studios at JJ in the late 1980s. वो फिर कैड की भी बड़ी क्रिटिक हुई, लोगों को लगा हमारा जॉब चला जाएगा, कंप्यूटर कर देगा. No, none of that happened. In fact, architects and designers mainstreamed computer-aided design. हमने CAD को streamline करके, we took it in, we embraced it, and our studios became much more proficient, much more efficient, and much more productive. AI के साथ भी we are now facing that moment, that designer, and at Anant, this is what we seek to do, and we train all our faculty and staff and students in AI, that this is an ally. This is something that makes our work much more productive and efficient and creative, that we should, all of us. Or hum log, we have on our campus an open AI policy where we offer access to AI tools and softwares to everyone with an Anant account, और आप उसको use करें productive ways में. हर टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ ये होता है कि उसके गलत यूज भी हो सकता है और सही यूज भी हो सकता है. एंड दैट्स एन एथिकल डिसीजन दैट वी टीच आवर स्टूडेंट्स साइमल्टेनियसली, कि इसको गलत काम के लिए नहीं, अच्छे काम के लिए इस्तेमाल करना है, व्हिच इज ट्रू ऑफ ऑल टेक्नोलॉजीज. सो दिस इज अ गुड अलायंस. The third point I want to make about AI, and I think which is equally important, is that we Indians have excelled at this art of embracing technology and making it our own, and doing it very well. IT industry is a great example of our country's, हमारे लोग innatively, as I said, Indians innately we are, जागरूक and we are hardworking, and we हम जब एक चीज के पीछे पड़ जाते हैं तो हम उसको सॉल्व करके मानते हैं. हमारे देश में कोई कंप्यूटर्स नहीं थे, if you would recall, before 1980s, but within a couple decades our country pivoted and we embraced computing and IT industry to the extent that today we are considered one of the leading, or maybe the leading nation in the world when it comes to our people doing incredible work on that front. So हमारे लिए तो ये एक बहुत अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है, and India ने इसको fully embrace करना शुरू कर दिया है. And at Anant we reflect and we actually are really a fundamental part of this equation, and we seek to train our students to use the best of the technology from anywhere in the world to create, to become, to create a world which is good for everyone and to become proficient designers who can work any part of the world.
Very
I hope
interesting,
this
sir.
answers. I hope this
It,
answers.
it does, it does. And actually, it takes me back down memory lane when I worked on the first 486 machine computer. When the screen was small and the CPU was larger than anything else, that rather than the desk I was sitting on. People spoke about the same things in those years when they said computers will take away jobs, and they talked about internet will take away jobs. So really, we really need to just adapt it into our lives. And as Indians, you are so true, you so rightly said. Indians are early adopters for everything that we've done. We've kind of, and which is why we are one of the best leaders. We have the best, people who are leading the best companies globally are all Indian, born out of India. So yes, I agree with you with every bit that you've said. So just to tell the audience that absolutely there's nothing to fear. And Anant is an AI integrated campus where you do learn everything which is new in the industry through the AI format, through the creative format, and you'll get a wider scope, wider understanding of the domain as you step into this campus. So another very pressing question for everybody. Um, it's about somebody mentioned about design education not being it being a huge investment. So very honestly, I'd like to turn the question slightly, saying any education in today's date is a huge investment, whether you're doing engineering or management or design is a big investment. And so what are some outcomes? You've already mentioned about the three career outcomes that's possible, but what are some possible outcomes that you've seen during your time at Anant that students usually pick up and really makes them go ahead in the future, which is really a parent question, which says, what is my return on investment that I do for my child's design education?
नहीं नहीं बिल्कुल मैं इसमें आई स्टैंड शोल्डर टू शोल्डर विद द पेरेंट्स हैविंग रेज्ड अ चाइल्ड माय सेल्फ the education has become expensive, and better education and good education has become even more expensive. इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, एंड वी एज पेरेंट्स वी नॉट ओनली हम दोनों चीजों को देखना चाहते हैं. वन, वी वांट टू सी दैट आवर किड्स and our children not only get the best education, but also an education that is productive in nature. And we're not doing education for the sake of education only, but also for the sake of, having a fulfilling professional career and a satisfying intellectual life. बिल्कुल जरूरी चीज है वो. मेरे हिसाब से हम लोग को ये इसमें ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि ये जो हम लोग एक बहुत आजकल बात करते हैं वेस्ट में खास करके इन द यूएस, इज दैट आवर इकोनॉमी हैज चेंज फ्रॉम एन इंडस्ट्रियल इकोनॉमी टू ए सर्विस इकोनॉमी टू ए नॉलेज इकोनॉमी नाउ. आज की तारीख में हम लोगों की जो हम लोग इकोनॉमी की बात करते हैं वो नॉलेज इकोनॉमी है. सो नॉलेज इज सॉर्ट ऑफ द is the currency in town. Industrial jobs हैं, and they are very important for a country like this, for a country like ours, जहाँ make in India हमारी एक national priority है, and we invest a lot of work because we want to make the best in anywhere in the world. पर वो बेस्ट बनाने के लिए हमें उसको डिजाइन भी बेस्ट करना पड़ेगा, तभी वो बेस्ट बनेगा, राइट? सो डिजाइनिंग.
Our Prime Minister has mentioned about the orange economy this time in the budget.
करेक्ट. इस बार हमारे बजट ने क्लियरली ऑरेंज इकोनॉमी की बात की, विच इज द क्रिएटिव साइड, एंड डिजाइनर्स आर एट द हार्ट ऑफ इट. ये अगर हमें चीजों को डिजाइन, और डिजाइन का सिंपल मतलब होता है, बहुत सारे लोग डिजाइन को आर्ट के साथ कंफ्यूज कर लेते हैं कि कोई ड्राइंग पेंटिंग जैसी चीज है. कई लोग उसको क्राफ्ट के साथ यूज कर लेते हैं, क्योंकि क्राफ्ट हमारे यहाँ इन दोनों, और ये भारतीय सभ्यता में आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट का एक बहुत लंबा, विस्तृत एंड वेरी रिच इतिहास है. और आज की तारीख में भी हम आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट में लीडिंग सिविलाइजेशंस एनीवेयर इन द वर्ल्ड हैं. वो हमारा एक रजिस्टर है. हम अनंत में अपने आप को उससे अलग नहीं पाते हैं. कि आर्ट और क्राफ्ट हमारी एजुकेशन का एक इंटीग्रल पार्ट है. वी डू अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क इन दैट एरिया. बट देन डिजाइन पर से, द मॉडर्न डिजाइन इज अबाउट फाइंडिंग सॉल्यूशंस टू प्रेसिंग ह्यूमन प्रॉब्लम्स. ह्यूमंस, हम लोग डिजाइन तभी करते हैं जब कोई प्रॉब्लम हम फेस करते हैं कि अब हाँ हम बैठे हुए ऐसे चलो आज डिजाइन करते हैं, ऐसे नहीं ना. डिजाइन इज ए पर्पसफुल एक्टिविटी दैट वी अंडरटेक in order to find specific solutions to particular problems. So वो रिटर्न ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट मैं समझता हूँ पेरेंट्स को 2-3 एंगल से सोचना चाहिए, लाइक आई डिड, एंड आई हैव अ चाइल्ड व्हिच आई पुट थ्रू कॉलेज, and incidentally she also chose to do design and she did it well. पहला तो है कि self selection, as I said, not many of us become musicians. If you see human population in general, में से कुछ ही जने self select करके musicians बनते हैं, कुछ ही जने self select करके sports person बनते हैं, कुछ जने self select करके क्रिएटिव फील्ड लाइक डिजाइन में जाते हैं. भेड़ चाल में बहुत सारे बच्चे, क्योंकि हमारा एक उस तरह का मास्टर रहा है, इंजीनियरिंग एंड मेडिसिन आई थिंक एज टू वेरी भेड़ चाल ड्रिवन फील्ड, बट अदर ये सब सेल्फ सेलेक्टेड लोग हैं. सो जो बच्चा डिजाइन में आता है उसको हम पहले से, एज आई सेड, ये 3 चीजों में हम उसको तीनों चीजों के लिए हेल्प करते हैं वेरी प्रोएक्टिवली. प्लस व्हाट हैपेंस इज, एंड दिस आई हैव लर्न both in, I've seen this firsthand both in the US and I'm happy to see it at Anant. जो हमारे बच्चे ग्रेजुएट हुए हैं, वो खुद once they are in the workplace they find opportunities because India's creative economy is growing currently. अब जो वर्क होता है ज्यादातर कंपनियों में, बड़ी कंपनियों में, वो टीम बेस्ड वर्क होता है. वो पुराने स्पेशलाइज्ड वाले जॉब्स कम होते जा रहे हैं. नाउ दीज आर इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी टीम. So in bug firms, imagine a team of 7, 8, 10 people who work on projects. उसमें 1-2 इंजीनियर होते हैं, 1-2 MBA वाले लोग होते हैं, 1-2 चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स या फाइनेंस बैकग्राउंड के लोग होते हैं, एक आध उसमें लिबरल आर्ट्स वाला भी होता है, पीपल हु कैन कंसीव एंड कंपोज एंड राइट language. And then there are people like designers, and then there are people who bring in very specialized domain knowledge. So 6-7-8 मुख्तलिफ तरीके के लोग होते हैं who work together collaboratively. This is where the orange economy has moved. And designers का इसमें एक बड़ा important role है. They find a place on the table because वो solution सोच सकते हैं, वो trained होते हैं, वो articulate कर सकते हैं, वो visualize कर सकते हैं. Visualization is very important skill in the workplace. वो उसको प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हैं, एंड देन प्रोजेक्ट्स के ऊपर काम कर सकते हैं बिकॉज दे नो हाउ टू कंपोज, कंसीव एंड डिलीवर ऑन प्रोजेक्ट्स. सो डिजाइनर्स के लिए दिस ऑरेंज इकोनॉमिक टर्न हैज बीन अ बूम, एंड परहैप्स दैट्स द रीजन, वन ऑफ द रीजंस व्हाई डिजाइन कॉलेजेस हैव बूम्ड across the country, because designers find employment in a wide variety of settings. I'll give you a small example. हमारे यहाँ अभी पिछले 10-15 साल से, and as I said, the field of design is very closely tied to the field, to that overall economic situation. अगर economy is not doing well, so design field sort of tends to go down. When economy is booming, the design field tends to do very well. ये destination weddings या specialized weddings आजकल हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में बहुत, and there's a whole field of event management and designing of the weddings and related things that has blossomed in the last couple decades across the country. And some projections say that this is a $200-300 billion industry within this country. और उसमें, and so many things are designed in that word, right from the trousseau of the bride to the place and the set and the stage and so on and so forth. So हमारे बहुत सारे designers, and that I think self-selection is the key word. They self-select to pursue their line of work, and then they specialize, and then they change tracks. ये बहुत common है design field में कि वो अपनी ट्रैक को चेंज करते हैं जैसे जैसे उनको किसी चीज में ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट आता है. दे बिकम सुपर स्पेशलाइज्ड. मेनी गो टू डू देयर मास्टर्स एंड दैट टाइम दे चेंज ट्रैक्स. कुछ लोग एमबीए कर लेते हैं एंड देन दे गो ऑन टू डू वर्क मोर ऑन द कॉर्पोरेट साइड, and so on and so forth. So return of investment, is safe and secure. This is not, we are not, the tuition in the design field, for example, tuition fees and other expenses are not as high as medical school, for example. But it's a intellectually satisfying and professionally bright field in 21st century India. है ना, हमारी इकोनॉमी ग्रोथ हो रही है, हमारा डिजाइन फील्ड कंटिन्यूज टू डू वेल.
Fantastic. That's a lovely answer, sir. So here's somebody who's asked a question which says, Aisha Tabassum is a student. And the student has asked a question. Says, I'm interested in both architecture and design. I have qualified for UCED and JEE ARC. Which career option should I choose currently?
Great question. First, congratulations, Aisha. You did well. At school ki aapka dono jagah admission hua. So I would like to begin by congratulating you. The second is, ये आपका थोड़ा tricky, I understand your dilemma. You are at a little bit of a crossroads, as they say. कि मैं gulab jamun खाऊं कि मैं rasmalai खाऊं. And you have both, right? In one hand, you have gulab jamun, and the second hand, you have rasmalai, and you can have only one. What if we try do both? And how do you do both? My sense is you can do both if you're in a place like Anant. Anant में अगर आप architecture कर रहे हैं, Anant is one of the few schools in the country where we offer both. Our design school is one of the bigger design schools in the country, and then we have a very solid and a very nicely positioned architecture school. So let's say if you choose to do architecture at our campus, you can always do design courses, take some of design courses as electives, कुछ classes आप beyond the curriculum attend करें, hang out with design students because you guys work in teams, so you'll make friends on the other side, so you'll learn stuff on this side. On the other hand, if you choose, or your self-selection is important, at Anand we believe our students should have maximum options. This is in line with Amartya Sen. If you remember, Amartya Sen साहब हमारे Nobel Prize winner इंडिया के, और उनका जो बड़ा एक पावरफुल आर्गुमेंट है कि हमारे पास बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस, जितने ज्यादा ऑप्शंस हो उतना अच्छा है. अगर आपके पास ऑप्शंस कम है तो देन यू आर नॉट डूइंग वेल, और जो अगर आपके पास ऑप्शन ही नहीं है देन यू आर पुअर. एक्चुअली पुअर हैव नो ऑप्शन, बट इफ यू हैव मोर ऑप्शंस दैट मीन यू आर रिच. एंड at Anant campus, we empower our students by offering them many options. कि देखें जी ये पूरा bouquet of courses है. You choose. So if you choose to go to design, you can take a minor in, we are currently working on offering a minor in architecture, green buildings, for example, energy efficiency and things like those. So आप design school में होते हुए भी कुछ architecture courses कर सकते हो. So that is the way you want to think. कि mix and match करें आप, है ना? No one is stopping you from having one idli and one, a tofu dish and some noodles on the side. Why not? 21st century affords you opportunities like this. So if I was you, I would perhaps choose to do architecture and take up courses in design, or vice versa. क्योंकि मेरा, your choice is important. I hope that answers the question.
I think Aisha would have got a reasonably satisfying answer, after what you've just said. So, what are the top 3 skills? How does a student know? I mean, a lot of our students here or parents would be people who are in the process of applying and they're thinking about it right now. What are the top 3 skills that you should, see within yourself to see, am I the right fit? Or is the design industry the right fitment as far as my personality is concerned or I'm concerned? What do I carry with me?
नहीं अपूर्वा, ये बड़ा अच्छा सवाल है आपका. मेरे हिसाब से नंबर 1, इंस्टेड ऑफ स्किल तो आप कॉलेज में सीखेंगे, बट जो भी एट्रीब्यूट
yes.
है ना, एट्रीब्यूट इज आई थिंक ए बेटर वर्ड टू डिस्क्राइब दिस. एक आपको इंटेलेक्चुअली क्यूरियस होना चाहिए टू बिकम ए गुड डिजाइनर, है ना? Curiosity drives a lot of invention. में क्यूरियस होना जरूरी है। अगर आपको क्यूरियोसिटी पसंद है, ये चीज क्यों काम करती है, ऐसे क्यों चलती है, क्या मैं इसको बेहतर कर सकता हूँ, इसको मैं कैसे बेहतर कर सकता हूँ, इसको ज्यादा लोग कैसे यूज कर पाएंगे, क्यूरियोसिटी इज एन इम्पोर्टेंट एट्रीब्यूट टू बिकम ए गुड डिजाइनर। द सेकेंड इज पैशन। पैशन बड़ा की है ना, हमने ये देख लिया ज्यादातर चीजों में पैशन की बहुत जरूरत होती है। डिजाइन इज ए वेरी पैशनेट फील्ड। पीपल सो थिंक समवन लाइक लियोनार्डो द विंची, उन्होंने क्या क्या चीजें नहीं कर दी। उन्होंने पेंटिंग से लेकर जहाज बनाने से लेकर मेनी इन्वेंशंस। सो पैशन, लग कर काम करने की लगन इज द सेकेंड वन। एंड द थर्ड आई थिंक इज इफ यू आर यू नो और डिजाइनिंग में दोनों तरह के लोग हैं, बट आई थिंक द मोर इज इफ यू आर ए पीपुल्स पर्सन, अगर आपको लोगों से बात करना, लोगों से इंटरेक्ट करना, इफ यू आर बिट ऑफ एन एक्सट्रोवर्ट दैट हेल्प्स। दो आई वुड क्वालिफाई इट बाय सेइंग कि मेनी डिजाइनर्स आर क्वाइटर प्राइवेट पीपल, है ना, वो शांति से बैठ के अपना काम करना चाहते हैं, दैट इज and they succeed as well. So ऐसा नहीं है, but the field itself lends to a little more aggressive, people who are a little more outgoing and people who are a little more forthcoming and sort of are like people's person. So ये तीन attribute मेरे हिसाब से stand out करते हैं to become to choose the field, because then you are sort of a natural fit into what happens.
Interesting. One of the students has said, I have applied for product design. Do I have to sit in front of the computer 24 hours a day?
हाँ, बहुत अच्छा सवाल है। मेरे ख्याल से सम डेज यस, 365 दिन अगर साल में होते हैं तो 10 दिन तो हमें ये काम करना चाहिए, मे बी 20 days, and that's fine. There would be some days when you would spend a lot of time thinking. There would be some days, and that's what I like about the field of design, because it offers a wide variety of options.
True.
ऑप्शंस का बड़ा मजा है कि चल 10 दिन कंप्यूटर पे काम करते हैं, 10 दिन अब हम इसको एक्चुअली बनाएंगे अपने हाथों से, मेकर स्पेस में जाकर। अब लेट्स वर्क ऑन द प्रेजेंटेशन, विल मेक दिस पिच टू आवर स्टूडियो इंस्ट्रक्टर और टू एन इन्वेस्टर और टू समवन एल्स। चलो अब 10-15 दिन अपन लोग एक टीम में काम करते हैं और ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करते हैं आइडियाज को कि इसको कैसे इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं। नाउ लेट्स टर्न अटेंशन टू कि 10-15 दिन अब वी हैव अनंत के कैंपस की एक बड़ी इनक्रेडिबल वाइब है, यूनिकली डिस्टिंक्टिव वाइब। आई हैव it's really begun to grow on me, though I've been on this campus for only about 8 months now, after 20 years in the US. But now I'm beginning to get that vibe. फिर बच्चे बोलते नहीं अब हम ये cultural event करेंगे, and then we have a lot of energy that sort of goes into that. So ये, but हाँ 10-15-20 दिन तो काम करें कंप्यूटर पे लग कर। I think that is good for you, because it teaches you something meaningful, and you learn to become, hard work की अपनी एक महत्ता है, but not 350 days in a year. Nah, then it's not joyful learning. We take the idea of joyful learning very seriously here at the campus. और सबके लिए वो जरूरी है, faculties, students, everyone needs to practice the idea of joyful learning.
True, very true, sir. Actually, the previous, I just takes me back to the previous webinar where we had our students and our alumni join in, and both of them, I echoed the same statement saying that no 2 days at Anant is the same. So when my question to them was, how does your day look like? To which they came back saying that actually I don't know, because tomorrow can be very different and day after can be very different. So every day at Anant is different, which is the best part at Anant. So I think the vibe piece that you're talking about is what this is. This is what is the articulation that the students have, that they bring forward. So do you have a message? We have a lot of parents who've joined in for this webinar. As we come closer to our time, and we've overshot a little over our time, do you have a message for the parents that you want to give out overall?
नहीं, ठीक बात है अपूर्वा. I would like to take off my provost hat at this point in time and put on my parents hat, because parenting it changes you fundamentally, as you have seen yourself perhaps raising your kids. Parenting एक बड़ा हमारे ट्रेडिशन में उसको कर्तव्य माना गया है. We have to do it like कर्तव्य, and we have to do well, and we as parents put in so much time, labor, love, care, affection. इंडियन पेरेंट्स इन पर्टिकुलर एंड एशियन पेरेंट्स इन जनरल, हम अपने बच्चों को बड़े लाड प्यार से और केयर से पालते हैं. सो वी वांट नथिंग बट द बेस्ट फॉर देम. एंड आई विल से व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू से नाउ फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव. डिजाइन का फील्ड जो है वो भारत के लिए नया है, और हमारी इकोनॉमी, हम सब ने अपने लाइफ टाइम में पेरेंट्स ने देखा है कि हमारी इकोनॉमी किस क्लिप से तरक्की कर रही है. वी लिव इन अ वर्ल्ड टुडे विच इज फुल ऑफ अनएंटिसिपेटेड केओस. हम लोगों को नहीं पता था इतनी सारी चीजें. हम अगर अपने नेबरहुड में देखें, ब्रॉडर रीजन में देखें, बहुत सारी डिस्टर्बेंसेस चल रही हैं. बट इंडिया स्टैंड्स लाइक ए बीकन ऑफ होप एंड लाइट. हमारे बच्चों का भविष्य, इफ दे चूज टू डू डिजाइन, इज उज्जवल, जस्ट बिकॉज the link of, as I said, design and economy is so close that when the economy does well, design prospers. So, ये एक नया भारत है. This is 25 years of the first of the 21st century have gone by in a blink. अभी तो देखिए, अभी तो हम 2000, अभी तो चेंज हो रहा था. अभी we were talking about, Y2K, and 25 years have already gone by. That makes me feel a little old and dated, which is perhaps not true. But nonetheless, 25 years is a long period of time. At this point in time, India stands at a much stronger position than we have been in a long, long time. So, and हमारे प्रधानमंत्री अक्सर इसको अमृत काल एक फ्रेज का उपयोग करते हैं, जो मैं समझता हूँ बिल्कुल इट गेट्स टू दिस नोशन. उसके हार्ट पे अमृत काल के ये है कि अब हम 75 साल से ज्यादा हमारी उम्र हो गई है एज एन इंडिपेंडेंट कंट्री, और ये आने वाले जो 25-30 साल हैं वो भारत के भविष्य के लिए, और भारत का जो कंट्रीब्यूशन एंड इम्पैक्ट ऑन द वर्ल्ड है, दैट कैन ओनली ग्रो एंड ग्रो इन वेरी इन्फ्लुएंशियल वेज. एंड आवर किड्स आर दोज हु आर गोइंग टू डू दिस वर्क. सो वी हैव टू एम्पावर देम, वी हैव टू गिव देम द बेस्ट एजुकेशन. अनंत में जो हम एजुकेशन ऑफर करते हैं, and I say this with my own personal experience of having gone to school in Western Europe and United States, वो अगर आप उसको वर्ल्ड के लेवल से कंपेयर करें, हमारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड है, better than any American school at this point time in 2025, और वो हम उसको भारतीय प्राइसेस पे देते हैं. So we are actually a much more competitive school if you compare us dollar to dollar with schools in Western Europe or North America. और ये हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि हमारा बोर्ड इसको सेल्फलेसली कर रहा है. This was not possible otherwise. Our board and our sponsors seek no return but the idea of nation building. So, we are lucky and parents of today like you and me that we stand at this moment जहां हम अपने बच्चों को एक solid world class education दे सकते हैं Indian prices पे, with the care and confidence that this generation would inherit a much better country and a much stronger economic foundation that you and I did when we came of age. So that's my sense here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for those words, and thank you so much for giving us your time. But before we end this session, I'd just like to inform each one of you that our provost has been meeting multiple parents during this time, and we are having an 1 second. Does this show on my screen? I'm sorry. Is this showing on my screen?
Bilkul, Apurva. I can see.
Okay. So, Provost sir has been meeting a lot of parents to discuss with them, to speak with them on a one-on-one, to have clarify their doubts. And there's been a huge demand from parents and students, prospective parents and students, to actually, come to the campus, meet. So here's an opportunity that we would want to give out to each one of you. We are having an open house on the Anant campus on the 25th and 26th of April. And if you're interested to come on campus, it's a 2-day, 1 night, 2-day stay over at the campus. Please take a picture of this QR code, scan it, and send us your interest. We will send out an invitation to you, so all of you can come over, feel the campus, spend some time on the campus, experience the faculty, talk to your peer groups, talk to Provost sir. It'll be a completely 2 days of a lot of learning, a lot of fun, a lot of workshops. Please feel free to let us know your interest here. And on that note, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you, sir, for your time and for those words. I think it's been very insightful for all of us, including me. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And a happy Sunday to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.